Bitcoin just crashed towards my exact price target, and on today's video I will talk about my massive trade I opened on this exact level. I will talk about my stop loss, my take profit, the most important charts, the most important news events, the reasons why this is happening, and my price target. So without any further ado, don't forget to slap on the like button, back above 600 likes. That will be absolutely incredible. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. But actually before, I quickly want to be saying that today is my birthday. I just turned 23, and my wish for my birthday is that Bitcoin is going to go up to $100,000 in 2024, and I think this is a pretty realistic wish. Even though it's my birthday, I'm still giving an update for you guys out there on the market. So looking at Bitcoin, we've of course seen another massive dump towards the downside, and honestly, if I'm looking at Bitcoin, it is exactly playing out like I have been saying ever since we hit 48,000 US dollars. Because on 48,000 US dollars, I said that my price target is 39.7k. I think that Bitcoin is going to be falling towards this level, since this is a region where I think Bitcoin is going to get attracted for, of course, due to the fact that there's a lot of untapped liquidity, and of course, due to the fact that we were creating a bearish pattern here on the top side. So looking at Bitcoin right now here, we can see that we are actually reaching my price target, and this is the first time that Bitcoin is once again, after this massive waterfall towards the downside, this was the first time it found some support. So at my buy zone, it is starting to be finding some support, but I am very realistic, and I can understand that Bitcoin potentially could even go lower. And to quickly say this straight away out, if Bitcoin breaks below the 39.2k, I think the next big support is going to be 37.6k. If we're going to be approaching Bitcoin from the top to the bottom, so let me see, from top to bottom right now, it's a 20% correction, but towards that 37.5k level, it's going to be a 24% correction. And that is, in my opinion, also a realistic correction to be getting in the market. So indeed, yes, I can expect that Bitcoin potentially is going to be dropping even lower, but in my opinion, I think that this is the zone where Bitcoin is going to be seeing a bounce from. And what I will be doing with my trade here is that basically once I see Bitcoin creating a clear bounce towards the upside, I will be starting to set my stop loss in profit. Right now, my stop loss is sitting around at 39.2k level. That is, of course, in a small little loss. But yeah, I just want to be patient to see how it's going to be trading out here. It's currently a trade worth 273,000 US dollars, what is, of course, quite a big trade here. And currently, we're in about, what is it, 2,000 US dollars in profit. I talked about this trade many times before, and I actually got entered, like you can see right here, on that exact bottom, what is, of course, quite nice here. So looking further in towards Bitcoin, where do I think Bitcoin is heading towards next? So what we want to be seeing here is actually, for the bullish confirmation, is a break back above 40.6k. Because if we break back above 40.6k, we're basically breaking below that range low here in the market again here. And this is a very important level in my opinion, because if we can't break above that range low in the market, that will be confirming for me that we're actually looking quite weak here, and that could potentially be for me a reason to be exiting this trade here. So make sure to follow me very closely if you want to be knowing what I will be doing with my trade. But yeah, currently what we did clearly do is take out all the untapped liquidity. I have been saying for weeks right now here, because ever since we were sitting on the top side, I said, okay, I see a bearish pattern getting created. I see a lot of untapped liquidity in the market. And due to the fact that the ETF hype is currently away, I think we could be seeing this untapped liquidity getting grabbed in the market. And that is exactly what happened. So currently we took out all the untapped liquidity. I've been stating for weeks, for days right now here. So we've been perfectly predicting this. And honestly, this candle right here is looking very good. We're consolidating around this region. So like my prediction was also, I still think we're going to be consolidating a little bit around this region before having that pushback towards the upside. So that is my personal expectation. That is what I think is going to be happening next for Bitcoin. And I mean, right now, the 4-hourly time frame, it looks like that we're in a massive waterfall, and potentially Bitcoin could be dropping even lower. But you know, you have to understand that holding Bitcoin is, in my opinion, a long-term game here. Right now, in the short term, we could see some sell pressure. Right now, in the short term, Bitcoin could go a little bit lower. But in the bigger things of it all, I don't think there's a big reason to be panicking about Bitcoin. And of course, the lower Bitcoin goes, the better buying opportunity I personally have to be accumulating more Bitcoin and crypto. And of course, one of the reasons why we're currently having that massive move towards the downside is the liquidation of FTX shares, because FTX sold an approximately 900 million US dollars worth of GBTC and sent their Bitcoin basically to Coinbase to sell it. And that is, of course, a big sell in the market. And that is also potentially a reason why we had that big flush out towards the downside. But right now, we also know that the reason why there was so much Bitcoin sent to Coinbase was due to the fact that FTX was selling their grayscale Bitcoins. So that is, of course, right now important to know. James Safford also said, wow, what a bad day for Bitcoin. It's because of the fact that basically Bitcoin saw the largest outflows in the ETF across the grayscale ETF. And that was also mainly due to the reason that FTX sold their grayscale shares. So that is, of course, important to understand. And here you can also see a quick chart about what happens to the Bitcoin price action once we are seeing these big sales flowing in towards the market. You can basically see that every single time, once there's a huge amount of Bitcoin getting sent towards the Coinbase exchange from grayscale, we tend to see a massive flush out towards the downside. And once again, it's important to understand that grayscale sent their Bitcoin to Coinbase while Bitcoin was still trading around $41,000. So yeah, right now, right after, we saw just another massive crash towards the downside for Bitcoin. And then one positive thing we can currently see in this market is that actually there is a lot of liquidity piling up above us again here, because so many people are starting to become bearish. Bitcoin just broke below $40,000. What is Bitcoin going to be doing next? Bitcoin is looking super bearish. That is what everyone is saying, and we can see a lot of short positions getting opened while we're actually right now entering my long position era. So I just opened a long position, but if I'm looking at the liquidity heat map, I can see that almost no one is opening longs and only everyone is opening up massive short positions on Bitcoin. So the massive liquidation will be happening somewhere around 43 to 42,000 US dollars, and approximately 6 to 800 million US dollars will be getting liquidated if we're going to be reaching that region. So once again, usually Bitcoin tends to follow the liquidity, so make sure to be patient. I think that Bitcoin still is likely to be pushing back towards the upside. So yeah, after we broke that upper sloping support line, Bitcoin indeed broke down even further. And I mean, honestly, I said this several times before, if we're not going to be finding support around that 39.7k level, what is of course not a level right here, but a more historical level all the way back here in April 2021, because this historical level is the drop off point where the big bear market started. This was the point where Bitcoin got that rejection from, and the second rejection we got had a massive crash towards the downside. So this level can create massive reactions in the market. So currently, we're still trading above it a little bit here. We're trading below it. We're just consolidating around this level. And of course, if we do break below it, I think the next big support for Bitcoin is going to be sitting somewhere around 37.7k here. So talking about my trade, I said that I have set up a stop loss. I said that I will be putting my stop loss in profit if Bitcoin breaks above that 40,600 level. And basically, currently, I will be looking and monitoring this trade very closely. So follow me on Twitter, because maybe I'm going to be closing my trade earlier or whatsoever unexpectedly. And if that were to be happening, the best way to find out is basically if you follow me on Twitter. So make sure to do that as well. And if you want to be trading Bitcoin yourself and making like $1,600 like I'm currently doing so quickly, make sure to check it out in the link description of today's video, because if you right now sign up an account using the link below of today's video, you can claim a free $1,000 trade. And all you need to do for that is literally sign up an account using the link below, deposit $100 in your first 7 days, complete KYC level 1, and you could claim this free $1,000 trade for only depositing $100 towards the exchange. So this is a massive deposit bonus that currently is running, and you could be claiming it. And if you can't trade on BYBIT due to KYC reasons, check out bitfinex, where you can trade without KYC and get a 10% cashback on everything you're depositing. So make sure to check it out. It's definitely a very valuable exchange and a very valuable offer they're having. So indeed, Bitcoin is breaking that upward sloping support line, and what we can also currently start to see that on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, we are having a bearish crossover here on that daily super trend. And this is the first bearish crossover we're seeing in a very long time, because the last time we got it was in the beginning of August, and right now we're getting it here in the beginning of January. So Bitcoin daily super trend is flipping bearish. This is actually quite a bearish signal, and this could be potentially telling us that the macro is shifting here. So just like right here, we have the bearish crossover on the super trend, and the macro shifted towards the downside before once again crossing bullish, and the macro flip bullish again here. So yes, you may be wondering, why are you right now entering a long position? I want to be telling you guys that I don't think that I'm actually going to be holding this long position open for long, because I want to be trading that small bounce towards the upside before potentially Bitcoin is going to go lower, or before potentially Bitcoin is indeed creating that big move towards the upside, right? So that is my strategy right now. But indeed, the daily super trend is currently flipping bearish, and this potentially could be projecting a bigger downturn on the longer perspective. So Bitcoin halving is about to be happening in 78 days here. This is once again going to be a bullish event for Bitcoin. And of course, like I said several times before, once we break that 47 to 48k level resistance, that is the point where I expect Bitcoin is going to be having a massive move towards the upside. So as long as we're not breaking that, I think we will remain in this reaccumulation phase for Bitcoin. So this was it for me in today's update video. If you did learn anything from it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And yes, guys, I have been telling you this, guys, for many days and weeks, ever since Bitcoin hit 48k. I told you guys there was a bearish pattern getting created, and I've been bearish all around here, so I've not been wrong. And this is the first time I started to flip a little bit more bullish. I think that this is a potential level where we could start to see a major bounce here for Bitcoin before potentially heading lower. So that is my expectation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.